But yeah, you good. Yes, I love you. How would you know? What's the normal volume?
Normal volume, right here.
Okay, cool. That'll work, sir. live on YouTube. It looks from here, it looks like a man. Really can't think about some little simple adjustment. She had to work. But she was like yesterday, she was like, look what I got for us. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, we say this, man. 3 hours. Yeah.
That's why I'm looking to the street when I'm fucking. Even in the stop it, you will love me for my black and say, baby, it's a real case. I'm as real to the world. I like you, baby. Never ever did my food your way. I'm a war. In the sky, that's good. I'm a shit. I'm make sure I'm living in that life of luxury. I'm living life and never getting half a fuck with me. What you did, now I'm going back to it. And I got mad like you.
You are my destiny. In my time, I'll dedicate my life. I'll sacrifice you. When I get my
Oh, this is the DJ right here.
I'm live right now. Yeah, thank you for showing that to me too. I get out, I go look at it.
No, I don't know. I get these pictures. Hey, y'all stay tuned. What's going on? Maybe I should go over there, but that's really good. I don't know. It looks like a lot of guys. A lot of old stories. You know what I'm saying? So we don't like introduce ourselves. It's like a chemistry thing. Kind of hard to explain. I don't know. I'm very humble. I am. Like, even all the stuff that I've done, I don't do it for like accolades or stuff like that. I'm just my purpose, and I love it, and I do it because I'm passionate about it. So people ask me to do shows, speak and stuff like that. It's like I love it. It's like,
Also, I'm listening to the
You remain open, close minds will get you nowhere. Gotta move with no one, so then I salute you. No one everything you bring through is just a journey. Every make mistake, keep us up, it's not doing the same mistakes. All into the chaos of confidence. In the heat of the moment, you can take it out. Yeah, what you wanna do, say you wanna be what you gotta be fast to your dogs. Even though it's getting hard, what you wanna do, so you wanna be flawless. Shot callers, get on your beds for your hours. But you gotta be fast to your dogs. Even though it's getting hard, what you wanna do, so you wanna be situation got you with some federation. Ain't a bad read, time to believe. It's hard for a tree to go for father bigger sleep. Plus I got to see it in my big mama need. Smoke a little to keep my mouth.
Yeah. Everybody will be in front of her, back of her head. Nobody will be behind her head. So I can see everybody. He knew I was doing the
average just ain't real. So some straight lives left in hallways, death records in the air. Legendary for life, that's the air. But as you got open doors and now closing, comes around and all those silly things you did as a young child. Bring it down in another direction. But I'm all it's not so. Yes, it gives you a chance. Say you want to be back. I met a woman just behind the star. She was really beautiful. People are singing songs in the hall, but they got the wrong person. She got a strong
Welcome, y'all, to Sister Soul Sunday. Thank you all very much for being here for this Black History celebration. A little bit of history about Sister Soul Sunday. It started with myself, Ebony, and Miss Donna with the Bookshop. We wanted to offer a safe space for African American women to come together, no judgment, positive energy, and uplift each other and empower each other. We know that if we all meet together, we can move in numbers and make a change in our community. So in honor of Black History, we decided to invite men to come celebrate and empower and uplift each other and make it a good Sunday. We will have free food. It's chicken and beef sausage gumbo with rice. We'll have that after the presentation. So we'll start off with introducing ourselves. I'm Amber Morgan. I'm the founder of the Sisterhood Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization for teen girls, 13 to 18 years old. We meet twice a month here at the Bookshop. We do different activities and events to promote self-esteem building, effective communication skills. We go on college tours and we do different activities to help get a positive image of Black African American women in the community. And I'll let Ebony introduce herself and talk about DFW Alliance.
Hi everyone, my name is Ebony. I'm with Dallas Alliance Against Racism. Okay, my name is Ebony. I'm with Dallas Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression. We are an organization that's based in Dallas that focuses on community control of the police, holding police officers accountable for their actions, and also to come together for the community and what we can do better for our community. I just want to say thank y'all so much for coming out for the Sister Soul Sunday. We out here for y'all. We really care about the community. We care about y'all's voices. We care about your thoughts and your opinions. So I just want to say thank y'all so much.
While Ms. Donna's working our way up here, ladies, also you gentlemen, but specifically for the ladies, we promote this every once a month to promote unity, to promote sisterhood. So if any of you want to promote your business, want to promote what you're doing in the community, please feel free to let myself, Ms. Donna, or Ebony know. We can get you signed up on the schedule to come host a Sister Sunday to kind of uplift and empower each other. We know that this is very much needed in the community. This is why this is a free event. We have some awesome panelists who are gonna dig into intellectual conversations regarding how we can empower our community. And then once we close out, we'll enjoy some good old gumbo and some rice.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Donna Craddock. I'm one of the co-owners of the Doc Bookshop, and there's Dinah, my sister. She's the other co-owner. We've been here for about 15 years. In fact, we're going to celebrate 16 in May. Thank you. And so I'm so excited when Amber and Ebony came and want to do something dealing with women. I mean, it was just perfect because we've been wanting to do something, but we need other groups to partner with. So when you all came to us, we just knew it would work. So thank you all for doing this. We have several things coming up, and we just want to invite you out to it because there's always something going on. We had a fantastic weekend at African American Reading in Dallas. We had about over 20 authors. It was great. And we also had a wonderful time with Takia. She does the color of dance. She does the Brown Girls Do Ballet organization. And so she was here on yesterday. But this weekend, we have our Black History celebration here at the Doc Bookshop this Saturday, the 24th, from 1 to 4. And Rick will be here. Yeah, he's going to be teaching. We're going to call that Black History 365 hour. And then we got some artists that's going to come as well and share. And then we're going to close out with our drum circle. So we want to invite the families out to our Black History celebration this Saturday from 1 to 4. And then we got some more art events coming up. Please visit our website because we got Beto Work coming. He'll be here on March 8th. And then we got Deion Sanders coming. He got a great book coming out called Elevate and Dominate. Yeah. And he'll be here on March 16th. And then we have. Yeah, those tickets are going fast. And then we also have Tim Ross coming, and he'll be here, I think, March 30th. So it's a very busy month in March, and so we just, Sister Greens. Got Sister Greens on
March 9th.
Sister Greens is
March 17th.
Yeah, we got Arthur. She's a national best-selling author. Her name is Michelle Stimson. She wrote the book Sister Greens. She'll be here March 17th for Sister Sunday. Okay. But our feature event for March is called Her Stories. And Her Stories, because March is Women's History Month, which we say Women's Her Story Month. Okay. And so we have this event called Her Stories. And one of our featured authors for that event, just confirmed, is going to be Kofi. Oh. And then we got, and then we'll also have Chef Raina. She's going to be here representing the International Women's Day as well going on. Yeah, and then we got some other authors. So we got 3 authors that day. So now, if y'all want to catch Dr. Kofi, she'll be here at 2:00 on the 9th. So there's a lot going on. So visit our website, stay connected, and definitely follow us on our socials. We on all the socials.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We have the Black National Anthem. The young lady, the soloist that is going to sing this, she's a very dear friend of mine. I've been knowing her for over 10 to 15 years. She's my son's hairdresser. She does their locks for them. She's an awesome singer, locticianist, actress, you name it. She wears many hats. She's a good dear friend of mine, and I couldn't ask nobody else better to come sing the Black National Anthem. Miss Shayla Sweets. And Shannon, you can give them a little information about you and where to follow you.
Like she said, my name is Shayla Sweets. I'm a singer, actress, hairstylist. I'm in Fort Worth, like over in the east of Fort Worth, Forest Hill, and Everman. The Everman Market, if anybody's familiar. If you want your locks done, come holler at me. And I am an old school stylist because I shampoo and condition. All right. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory. is one. Thank y'all.
That's my girl Shayla Sweets. Y'all can book her to sing at y'all next event. Y'all look her up on her social media sites, and she has an awesome voice. And the locks, my boys, their hair is on point. She does really good work. Next we have a Brown Goddess who's going to do a poem for us. I met her a couple of months ago, and she is phenomenal. I'll let her voice speak for itself. Okay.
Tree of life defines my generational lines, these ties that bind my ancestors as they hang. Covered in Spanish moss and Aborigine soil, oak to mahogany, walnut to mahogany, mahogany to mahogany, drenched in misogyny, bound by branches dictating what fruit I can and cannot bear. Pulled by wagons of horses, ripping through and rippling through the rings of my family tree. Division, colors that change in my leaves as they fall from me, fall dead from me. Shot, choked, raped, turned against me. This nature's upset in me. Sapping tears run thick down my war-torn briquettes of rosewood. Burned alive, murdered, shackled, hunted for sport, then fed to swamps that swallowed us whole, flooded out of our roots. And I can't dig any deeper because we're buried 6 feet above you. Rustling winds in the cold night air of ancient drums and songs calling out to me. Through strangers that I meet, I hear and feel the still of my heartbeats. Bloodlines running through the veins of my flower, my stamen dripping with the semen of ancestors who don't belong on these hallowed grounds, shallowed out and burned as my fruit hang from me. Covered in the ash of my ancestry, phoenixing from papyrus, Rosetta pocket full of stones thrown at me because we be in any language you could speak. Dragged by a pickup haul long after slavery, thriving and still, dying and drying up and falling. You see, America, she pruned me with propaganda and made me your clown show. Blackface bozo come through. See, appropriate watering on inappropriate soil is what cultural appropriation grew. With Tuskegee airmen flying through, forced serve cross-pollinated fruit as if it was what we chose to do. Bearer, nurturer of every seed, yet still in our own soil, we drip and we bleed. Slit through me, these flowers bud yet don't bloom. Pick too soon. Urban decay is our own ruin, you see. Every other seed we're taught to nourish. I said every other seed we're taught to nourish. Our black seeds, they won't flourish. You're still and plant in their gardens for show. Blooming translucence. History flickers. History flickers. His story flickers in the wind. Flames of our heirlooms burn with the forest went over like 1492 when they claimed the land that's in our roots and then leashed into our soil the blood from every scar that bleeds, violent screams of rape and inconsequence. Because it's their privilege to desecrate me. It's their right to hunt me. There's literally a license to kill any nigga. Limb by limb, picked apart like cotton in the fields of us where we grow, but we be like roses in a concrete jungle where hope springs eternal, and still we rise from the decay of us they lay at our defeat. But they forget it is our own decay that nourishes this black seed, and still we rise from this propagated topiary, and even though some still sleep, still we rise, even though forests still get gunned down and be run down, but instead of stolen land, now they be gentrified. Still we rise from the swamps where the souls of our ancestors cries them in peace, because through the chosen they speak. Still we rise that ocean yellow dancing undercurrents of our Jesus retreat, unified in death 1,000 leagues under the sea. And I cry their cry through me. So still we can rise to make next generation's legacy.
Thank you, my sister.
I know.
This is our Black History celebration. This is a uplifting and empowering event. I want you all to, when you leave here, to feel empowered and uplifted. When you meet when you network and meet with someone, uplift that person. You never know what someone is going through. You never know what the way times are, what we face outside of our house, what we face interacting with people, especially other races. It's very important that we stick together as a culture. Don't let outside races interfere with what we got going on. We have enough power, knowledge, and information within our culture that we don't need to look to anybody for validation nor resources. We have it within our own community. So we need to uplift and empower each other. I can't tell you how appreciative and how grateful I am of the Doc Bookshop. Since I started my nonprofit, they have poured into the girls that I serve. The girls look forward to coming here to meet, to do different activities, and I owe it all to the Doc Bookshop, because when I told them the idea that I had for my nonprofit, they were all in, and they've been all in since day one. Sister Sunday is just another add-on to the Sisterhood Foundation, and I'm very appreciated. So without further ado, we'll get started on this intellectual conversation with these wonderful, beautiful panelists that I have. I will let each of them introduce themselves, and we'll ask questions, and everybody will have the opportunity to answer, and then we'll open up the floor for you all to ask questions to the panelists. Don't hesitate, let's interact with each other. Before we do that, I do have a couple of raffles I want to raffle off. If everyone can take out their cell phones, if you will follow the Doc Bookshop if you haven't, DFW Alliance, and I'll let Ebony come and spell that out for you also. You can find that on social media, and also the Sisterhood Foundation. The first person that follows either three of those organizations will get a prize. So Sisterhood Foundation, the Doc Bookshop, and DFW Alliance. Ms. Donna, will you let me know who's the first one to follow? Either.
Come on, man.
All right, it's National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, Dallas on Facebook.
Our first winner goes to Miss Nakedra Rogers. She's also a vendor, so please make sure y'all check out her table. She has some wonderful prizes. She has some wonderful t-shirts and earrings for sale, so please check out her table. You want to come a picture? Yeah, this wonderful book. Thank you. Okay, for DFW Alliance on Facebook, it's National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, Dallas.
Repeat that one more time.
National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, Dallas. Ms. Donna, you have someone for the doc?
Oh, yeah, I already did.
We already been following.
Yeah.
We're like, oh.
All right now.
Layloon, come up here, please. Okay, also, if you can leave a comment on YouTube, you can win a prize. We got one prize left before we go ahead and get started. Subscribe to the Bookshop YouTube channel.
We're live right now, so I can see.
We're live right now, so he can see who,
I can see the comment.
he can see the comment.
Ever G subscribe.
G subscribe? Okay, come up, G.
Yo.
What she got?
Right there, she
This is near and dear to me. This is a Sisterhood Foundation mug, and it says, "Be a sister to a sister."
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nephew, I'm on camera.
She said, wait, did you get that? I love it.
Thank you all for following us. Without further ado, Mr. Randolph, you want to get us started off and introduce yourself?
Sure. Anything in particular?
Just a little bit of background information and.
Okay, I don't know if it stretches, so I'll sit. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name is Kevin Randolph. I am a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, here with the local chapter of Fort Worth, which is Epsilon Alpha chapter. I reside from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, born and raised. And I was telling Amber, Fort Worth reminds me so much of home. I currently live in Mansfield, Texas. I'm retired military. I'm a former corporate director, but now I run my own two businesses. I am a sole proprietor of KMR Enterprise Solutions, where I do Six Sigma analysis for various companies throughout the state of Texas, as well as the nation. As well as I'm retired military, as I stated, I run a VA disability business where I help my fellow veterans get their disability just due. So if I have anyone in the audience, I can talk to you after that. So I'm encouraged and excited to be here. We have a mentoring program called the Maker Stars on the south side of Fort Worth, but also we encompass young men from 5th to 12th grade throughout the north, south, and the east and west of Fort Worth. Ricky came over and spoke to our young men yesterday. We had about 30-some young men in attendance. So we currently have, I think, 37 in the program, and looking forward to getting more and things, is teaching them social skills, social tools to empower them to be great young Black men in today's society. So I look forward to it.
Good afternoon. My name is Louis T. McClain II. I'm from Arlington, Texas. I am a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Beta Tau Lambda here in Fort Worth. Let's see, I'm the founder and CEO of Melanin Origins, a children's book company, a global publishing service that specializes in children's books about African American history, right? So Booker T. Washington, Ida B. Wells, Madam C.J. Walker, we write about them for our children, helping our children to see themselves reflected in greatness through their historical past. I'm the meditative coach. I have a coaching service that literally teaches our parents, our people, how to create from a place of peace. All right, from a place of peace. Every single person has a goal that we need to be moving towards. And once we get on that path, and we will begin to reap the benefits and have a better community, hands down. But I'm glad to be here in the midst of these great esteemed panelists, and look forward to the conversation.
Hi guys, I'm Miss Neek, also known as Miss Neek Revamp. I am a motivational speaker, published author, spoken word artist, graphic designer, web designer, trauma healing coach, so on and so forth. I'm a queen of many hairs, is how I like to call it, okay? So essentially, I'm a one-stop shop. Now, I don't do this stuff they do, but I do a lot. I'm also a mom of 10. I have 9 boys and 1 daughter. A lot of people say, why do you always say that? Because, honey, that's a badge of honor. Understand that I am literally the illusion of raising Black men, kings, you know, in society, in today's society, with the same, I have the same turmoil that everyone else has. And he lives in Mansfield, and so do I. So it doesn't matter what your what your economical background is. When the police pull you over, they ain't pulling you over because you got so much money in your bank account, because you live in this big house. They pull you over because of what you look like on the outside. So it don't ever get to what your educational level is, or so on and so forth. So I do wear that I'm a mom of 10 as a badge of honor. Most folks will hide that detail. Well, I wear it because I believe in living life out loud. I'm also a survivor of many unfortunate abuses, meaning, SA and, and so on and so forth. I grew up in the system. I've done everything from, group homes to family members to, to actually aging out of the child protection system. I am originally from Chicago. And I'm okay, okay. And we have been here in Texas for almost 8 years. So anyway, I have a memoir out, y'all. Let me let y'all know that, because I'm long-winded. If my past wasn't so dark, my future wouldn't shine so bright. It is available everywhere online books are sold, and we're gonna hopefully get it in here soon. They waiting on me, y'all. They do. Okay, so let me go.
Good evening, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. My name is Kofi Williams. I'm known as Coach Kofi, and for the past more than a decade, I've been working to empower women of color, helping them to find themselves, overcome fears, and embrace new beginnings, helping them to rewrite the stories that we've been lied to about ourselves so that we begin to heal from the inside out. So my work is more about what you can't see, because so often we walk around and we judge those. We write a story, a scenario of others based on what we see externally, when all the while we are literally dying inside because we have unhealed wounds. And my role, my passion, my work is helping women to overcome that and to be able to look in the mirror and love the woman that's staring back at her. I'm an author, I'm a motivational speaker, and I call myself a soul guide because I guide women back to their souls.
How everybody doing? My name is Rodriguez Underwood, better known as Mr. U. I own a fashion and marketing here in Dallas that I started in Detroit, Michigan, called Mr. U's Closet, and I do wardrobe consulting, fashion styling, photography, a lot of public speaking events. I also produce within the fashion industry as far as fashion shows. I'm a face of men empowerment, so I produce a lot of men empowerment events, and I'm glad to be here. I love this setting. I walked into the bookstore and it was just like, wow. I love us. I love our people. I love our articulate ways that we do things. And I'm so glad that Amber invited me to be a part of this panel, guys. And I'm looking forward to this discussion.
I am Brown Goddess. I am a poet and an author. This is my book. My real name is Janae Vaughn. So if you look me up, that's my government. You can find me. It's book 1 of Jasmine's Twilight of a Revolution. The poem that I spoke, Tree of Life, is in that book. And so I speak from a place of healing, really. When I started out at 16, I kind of started in this really bad area in New Orleans. That's where I grew up. So I kind of started this thing called Keeping It Real Click, basically to get the kids away from gang members that were in the area. I had a great success rate, only lost one to the gangs. They're all still living, all doing well. So I wanted to take that and move that into poetry and let my words move people as much as my actions did there. I take that model and I use it in my work settings as well. Wherever we are, I try to make us as present as I can as someone as in management. Wherever I go, I'm in management. So I make sure that I empower everyone there. So that's kind of like who I am, what I do, and yeah. So.
Thank you all. I'm very appreciative that you all decided to participate in this panel. Again, I'm Amber Morgan, the founder of the Sisterhood Foundation. I have a bachelor's and a degree in behavior analysis, study of human behavior. Sometimes I look at it as a blessing and sometimes I look at it as a curse to see why people behave the way they do. But instead of looking at it as a curse, I look at it as a blessing because I can use that to help empower people. I can help them see the better side of life because there's always things to be appreciative of. Our God is a powerful God. He created the heavens and earth and he created all of us and he created us in unity like him. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with this discussion. Mr. Randolph, I'll ask you the first question and then after you answer, we'll go accordingly. So the first question is, why is it important to you to empower our Black people?
Yes. I think that's a great question. And when you sent it over the other day, I was thinking more and more about it. It is our, I would say our godly duty to give back to those that are in our community. If we don't do that, then we're turning it over to the others in society, and we've already seen the blueprint of that. Unfortunately, we've been brainwashed in some degree to believe and think of things that are not true. And then we get rich and deep into our own cultural roots. We now, as a community, can give back to the people that look like us. And things as that. Empowerment to me is a godly thing. And when I say a godly thing, only God can empower. Our job is to kind of wield that on individuals who feel somewhat less than power and things such as that. So I believe truly, as a community, especially as Black men and Black women, these young people that are sitting out here looking in the audience right now, they're looking up for us for guidance, and it's our duty to do that.
Totally agree. Totally agree. The saying goes, how's it go? If not me, then who? If not now, then when, right? So if not now, then when are we going to do it? And if not me, then who's going to do it? When you look around the globe, see people of color, at the lowest end of the stick. Marcus Garvey traveled around from the Caribbean all through Central America, and he just continued to see Black people doing all the work, stimulating the economy for, a fair-skinned group of people, right? He's seen us laboring and doing all the work for the benefit of someone else. Meanwhile, in our school system, we're not being taught about our greatness. We're not being taught in a manner that actually reflects the accomplishments that we've done in the past and the abilities that we have to do here in the future and to build a greater society for ourselves. And so we have to be the ones. It's very important. It's very important that we realize that the school system is failing our children. It's not going. They're not going to stop doing it. They're going to continue to perpetuate this cycle. I mean, it's very important for us to realize that. I mean, look at this. We have an esteemed panel up here, and we can turn on the television and we can see celebrities who talk about this great net worth, but Black net worth has not changed in the past 50, 60 years. And so the programming is real. If we do not step out into our communities and our societies, right, and do the work that needs to be done, well, then who is going to do it? So it's very important. That's the reason why I created Melanin Origins. Again, our mission is to create quality educational materials that inspire young minds to aspire for excellence while embracing their heritage. All right, there's a phrase, there's a term called culturally responsive pedagogy. Pedagogy is teaching for children, and it pretty much says that our children learn better in a way whenever the information that's given to them is culturally relevant to them. So that's why we're not taught Black history. Right. That's why all throughout the South they're banning Black history. That's why I'm learning about Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois when I'm 25, 37 years old instead of 4 or 5 years old. Like I'm starting to make the changes that I want to see, but we have to teach our children whenever they're young. Right. So I can go on and on. I'll pass the mic at this point, but it's very important for us to do the practical work that is in front of us.
I like to piggyback off of what both of these brothers were saying, and I like to just bring it home, right? Let's bring it home. Okay. We almost have to empower our children, empowering ourselves. Yes. When that starts at home, we can't send our kids out here to the secular community to learn this stuff that has been perpetuated for forever and expect them to come home smarter than us. Yeah. That's our problem. And until we face what's really in front of us, which is we have to break down what's happening in our homes. Now listen, we probably are all amazing parents. We're impeccable to our standard, right? Because if we are better than our parents were, right, then we are already doing something better. We're already changing. We're already breaking curses. We're already tearing down those generational, you see what I'm saying, things that just kept going and kept going and kept going. But the reality of it is we still have, no matter what, if we want to empower we have to empower our youth. Yeah. We have to do that and starting in our houses. And let me tell you, you better go back to them days when Big Mama didn't care who the hell was in the house. She talked to every kid the same way. You get what I'm saying? When your friends came over, they got the same lecture you got. When they friends came over, and when their parents came to pick them up, she gave them that lecture too. That's what we have to get back to. In order to empower our community, we literally have to get back to unity. Yes. The unity within our community is the breakdown of us. What is that? Divide and conquer? They have mastered that. And every day we turn on television sets, we go out into the community, we flick through social media on our phones, we see people battling each other, celebrities going after each other, blogs going after each other, talking about that man, his wife, and the mistress, and the pastor. And I don't care about none of that, because how is that helping us? How is that empowering us? How is that going to move us, to a closer goal? And another conversation we need to have about empowering is, listen, most of us don't feel empowered because we may not feel like we are where we should be in our life. Right? Maybe financially we're not where we want to be. Maybe, as far as accolades, we're not where we want to be. And y'all, we have to start reaching into ourselves and motivating ourselves to push it, to get there. And listen, not everybody got a cheerleader. Not everybody has a support system. So we have to learn, and I teach that in my trauma healing. We have to learn how to start being your own cheerleader. You got to know when you got to tell yourself, you got to get your ass out that bed. You got to know when, hey, you got one more day to sit here and cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know when you just ain't got nobody else to, you know what I'm saying? Look, we were born alone. We gonna die alone. So it's time for us to start learning how to not just empower each other, but we gotta start empowering ourselves. I can't give you what I can't give myself. Right. So we gotta start with that. And empowering, they don't want to see us thrive, baby, because look at what happened. They know as soon as they leave us alone, somebody might not want to hear, but we thrive more during segregation than we have ever done. Yes. So much so that they bombed their own soil to get rid of us. Yeah.
What a perfect segue. So let's remind the audience of the question that we're answering today.
The question is, why is it important to you to empower our Black people?
I love this question because those of you who knew me back when probably would be surprised because it's like, well, I'll just do my part. I'll do my little part right here and just be a good person. Until 2019, 2020, when I was afraid to drive my own car in my own community. Then it became important to me. As a mother of 2 Black kings, I worried day in and day out about my sons simply because of the color of their skin. Empowerment became important to me. And then on May 25th, 2020, I watched a Black man be murdered on national television for 9+ minutes. Empowerment became important to me. And see, I'd been a women's empowerment coach and wellness coach for over a decade at that point. But at that time, women were not trying to be coached. We were fearful. We were experiencing collective trauma. We were afraid. It's like we were caught in some future war with 2 waging evils, one that we couldn't see, Corona, and one that we could. And so I asked myself, how am I to make a greater impact on the lives of women of color? And I didn't have an answer because I was going through the same trauma that all of you went through. And so I gave away those things that I didn't want. I put my most prized possessions in storage. I sold my car and I bought a one-way ticket out of the country. And I spent a year traveling in Mexico and Guatemala and Costa Rica to find out, how am I supposed to show up in a bigger, bolder way and empower women when I felt so powerless myself? And I didn't get the answer until I came back to the US. And I saw that we were still struggling even more now, because even though the world is open, we have the residue of the trauma that we still have to deal with. And I saw a need. And I knew that as a women's empowerment coach, I knew that as a teenage mom, I knew as someone who had suffered from codependency and low self-esteem and clinical depression, that there was a gap, there was a need, and that I could feel it. So that's why empowerment is important to me.
How do you follow up with all these amazing answers? But yes, one reason I think it's my responsibility to be an empowerer in my community is because I just feel like for us to know our true identity and for us to really uplift and empower each other, we got to know who we are and where we come from. I think over so many years, the centuries, the decades, a lot of us have been brainwashed, shall I say, to not really understand and embrace who we are. We've been taught to hate each other. We've taught to not collaborate and get along with each other, not want to see the next person do better, you know? So I feel it's so empowering for us to uplift each other because we're just an amazing body of people, and I think we're stronger together. But in order for us to come together, we have to learn how to harmonize and agree and get along with each other, because that's where it lies, that's where it exists, and that harmony and that collaboration and that my brother's keeper type of mentality. You know, that's when we become more powerful. Like coming from where I come from, I can relate to baby girl here. I grew up in foster care as well. And I'm learning to embrace that story because a lot of people tell me that's where my healing is, by sharing my story with you guys. So the way God has transitioned my career from being this fashion icon to a public speaker and motivator and influencer in my community is amazing to me to even watch it unfold, right? Because I've lived it. I've been to a part of the spectrum where a lot of people can't relate to, or the people who can relate to it, they think it's a curse or think it's a bad thing, when it's like, no, I'm an advocate here telling you, like, no, that's not always the case. Sometimes it's a thing of not having a choice. But becoming an adult, we have a choice. We have the opportunity to make a choice to learn who we really are and learn our real roots. We owe it to our ancestors. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to the guides that we are to really understand who we are. One of my co-producers and partners that I work real closely with, Keisha Sanchez, she made a powerful statement yesterday, man, during an event that we was guest speakers at. She was saying sometimes we don't understand how close God is to us. He's in us. But if there's no one to tell us that, we won't believe it. You know, but we've been taught the opposite. But you look at history, look at the Bible for God's sakes. Who is Jesus? I believe he's a black man.
Oh, yeah.
Because who do they hang? Who do they crucify? Us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who's the hair of wool? It's us. But you know, you take a lot of people, they want that accolade, they want that power, they want that image. So of course they're gonna do whatever they gotta do, put in our food, and we can go all day about this. It's a whole bunch of stuff that they do to keep us from realizing our power. So it's icons like ourselves, it's influencers like ourselves to have events like this, to pour into our people, to pour that knowledge of who we are. We're walking greatness. And in order for us to teach that and coach that, we have to walk in it ourselves. We have to show up for ourselves in an image of greatness. And believe it, because I know I'm a king. I don't nobody has to tell me that. I've lived the story, I've lived the life already. I know who I am. And I walk in and I cherish it, and it's something that I never take for granted. Because being an opportunity to sit up here and you guys just being here and showing up for opportunity and an event like this says a lot. Thank you guys.
So again, this is a very amazing panel of people, and they have echoed a lot of the things that I already feel about why empowerment is important. So I'll start off with this. So I have 4 kids, right? I have an angel and I have 3 other kids that are still with us. My daughter, when she was 12, said she did not want to be married and have kids. And I said, why would you not want that? Because of the way the world is set up, and no one will allow us to be who we are. So I had stopped everything that I was doing when I was married on the empowerment journey for our people. Like when I was 16, I had the Keeping It Real clique. I had those kids, and I followed up throughout their lives, you know, up until this day. But I had stopped a lot of the things I was doing in the community. But that jolted me to want to start again. And I started again with my writing, because my mom always told me I had a powerful voice, and everyone stopped and got chills whenever they listened to me, whenever I spoke. So I was like, well, I guess that's the avenue. So, you know, I thought that it would be the way for me to be able to reach the most amount of people that I can, to pull them into knowing who they are, to knowing where we've been, and to know where we're going. Because if you don't know all of those things, what are you actually giving to your future? A lot of people went and they died. They fought, you know, for us to even have the right to sit up here, to have a panel, to be in this meeting right now that we are. We couldn't do this 50, 60 years ago at all. But we're here today, and I want to be able to have a part in that legacy for my daughter, to be able to have her kids out in the world, and, you know, for my son to want to be able to have kids out in this world and be free and not afraid. So that's why empowerment is important to me.
Thank you all for those amazing answers. It is important to me because I love my people. I love my people. When I was pursuing my bachelor's degree and master's degree, I was the only African-American woman accepted into my cohort. And so it was very, very difficult because I experienced discrimination. I experienced racism. They acted as if they were happy that I was there, but they wasn't, because I was a threat to them. They only wanted to use me as, hey, we have a token. We have one who knows, who's educated enough, who can articulate, who can talk. But it was only for show. They didn't really want me there. They really didn't want to accept the knowledge that I was able to contribute. They didn't want any of that. They just wanted me to as a show to show, yeah, we have one Black person in our program. And so ever since then, I was like, I want to empower my people. I want to give back to my community what they are taking from us or what they're trying to take from us. If you look in the media, all of these other races, they envy us. They want to look like us. They spend a lot of money to look like us, to entertain other people. They want to do what we do, but without giving us the credit for our greatness. Thank you all for those amazing answers. I will go over to question number 2. How do you empower people? How do you empower our Black people?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank this sister right here for letting me. So I'm gonna listen up this time. Like I used to tell the white folks when I was in corporate, don't let the suit tie fool you. And whatnot. You really need to know where I come from.
That's right.
To know why I'm in power. You know, I come up in an era where the Black man was just beat down so much that they didn't stand up like kings. When you found one, you gravitated to him really quickly. So that was what was instilled in me. So I think, you know, to answer the question, you empower, or why do I want to empower is because you do it by example. You walk that talk. And again, I'm about ministry. And being God-filled and God walking and God leading. If I say I'm gonna do it, young man, let's do it. And things like that. So that is one. The other one is Black men. We can't be, and young ladies as well. We can't be afraid to say I love you, man. That's right. You know, we can't be afraid to put you. It ain't no phobic thing about it and whatnot. But we should be able to tell our young sons, son, I love you, and things like that, and continue to pour that love into him and things like that. So now he sees it, he hears it, and eventually he's gonna actually start walking. And things such that. So I just want you to understand that. But let me just give you a little background on Kevin Randolph, because a lot of people don't probably know who I am and things like that. I'm in 12th grade with food stamps in my pocket. You know, my mama did the best she can with three different dads. I just met my biological father at 38. I'm 57. Wow. I dated a girl on the street. Wow. Didn't even know the joker lived on the street. And things like that. So that, again, when we talk about empower, I come back to, again, I want to make sure I pour into a generation where they are uplifted by seeing strong, positive Black men. You know, this is one of the main reasons. Of course, it's a kind of a affiliation with our organization, but that's one of the main reasons we're pushing this mentoring program with our young men. Because they're coming from a lot of what we call single-family homes, just like me. Again, no, not mother. My mother did the best job. If you want to be a man, you need to see a man. Anything. I'm a strong believer of that. So we now trying to embody them and empower them and bringing them around strong Black men who now can not only just pour love into them, but also give them the words and encouragement and the uplift, as we always say, so eventually they can grab a hold of one of these young ladies and be able to hold her hand and walk with her as a king supposed to be, because that's what we are. We are, and I truly believe that. So once you believe that, as she said earlier, once you believe that you are a Black king, I'm a Black king, you can't tell me nothing else. And I still ain't done what I'm gonna do. So I'm a Black king, so I say that to the aspect, young man that come and touch with me, you're gonna learn how to be a Black king too. And that's called empowerment.
Can you repeat the question, please?
How do you empower our Black people?
How do I empower? Let's see. So, I'll give you a whole background. Let's see. My background, my bachelor's degree is actually in criminal justice. And I went to a Christian college and studied criminal justice. And I learned that I needed to work with young people to help change their life around, because I had some key influencers in my life that helped change my life around when I was a young kid going the wrong way, right? So I worked in the juvenile justice field for 7 years. Once I started volunteering, I volunteered and then I started working in juvenile justice. But when I was working there, I noticed that judges will send a child back to jail, like they'll violate their probation, right? Just for skipping school, for, skipping class, not having their grades up, not passing. And so kids literally could go back to jail for not passing their classes. And so I said, well, if there's Title I funding for tutoring, then how come we can't work with these organizations and even mandate tutoring, right, as a part of their probation, right, to help boost their academic achievement? So I'm saying that to say, along the way of my journey, it's been continuously creating organizations and institutions. Like tutoring actually became a court-ordered sanction in Pensacola, Florida, right, by county judges and probation officers. So it's all about implementing different strategies. Currently, I have Melanin Origins, which again, our mission is to help our young children aspire for excellence through embracing their heritage, through culturally responsive teaching. So we have a 10-book Black History series about the pioneers I spoke of before. We actually have a 7-book faith-based series. So now we're allowing our people to connect with their faith. And then we have values and virtues from our ancestral past, which I heard we need to know who we are, right? We need to have that connection. So I'm focused on empowering our young children by helping them to see themselves and establish a link to the greatness, not only that we were in the past, but the greatness that we are even here today, right? Our motto is channeling the greatness that lies within. My brother, Mr. Yu, said that God exists inside of us. Yeah, we're fearfully and wonderfully made, created in the image of God. And if that spirit of the living God is inside of us, well, then who are we to look in the mirror and to think that we have any kind of limitations, right? Who is society to tell us that we aren't as great as we say that we are, or that whatever religious scripture that we believe in says that we are? Now, as a meditative coaching business that I created, right, my mission is to help my clients identify and attain results in their passion and in their purpose so they can manifest the life that they've always desired. And I'm of a different persuasion than most people, right? Because I believe we have to create from a place of peace. Too often, we're already creating from a place of force. Like, we are African-American individuals here who believe that, you know, someone has a thumb on us for the most part, so it's an upward battle. So we're already creating from a place of force, right? There's a banner up there with all of our historical leaders. It says freedom fighters. So now freedom is something that we have to aspire to, and fighting is something that we, for some reason, have to do. So now it's about creating from a place of peace. We've already been beat down so much by society, right? We've already been lied to, right? We've been lied to so many times. We've already had the trauma that we had to deal with in our personal life through our childhood and all the different things. Each individual has a mixed bags of feelings, dealing with fear, grief, guilt, shame. And so now it's about identifying those things, bringing them to the forefront so they cannot serve as an internal block in our life, but also identifying, writing the vision down and making it plain, identifying that goal and moving towards that, not standing in our own way, moving together in harmony and creating the society that we want to see in our life. Because the power of prayer is real. The law of attraction is real, right? And so that's how I focus on my empowerment, literally creating strategies, because we all have the ability. Every single person has a burden or a talent, something that they are good in and something that they want to help create a change in. We can do that if we band together and move forward.
Yes. I'm keep cute and I'm keep sweet. I empower by simply showing up, and it's me every single day.
Yeah.
I wake up every day, and there are days when my body is riddled with pain and I do not want to get up. I cannot move. My body parts won't move. I can't roll over. You know, there are days when I'm playing ping pong with my thoughts. You understand? There are days when Satan himself is in my in that frontal lobe telling me, yo, you can't do this. This will not happen. You will not be. I refuse to allow you to be the greatness from which lies within. And every day it is a battle. Every day it is a battle for me to get up and speak and look at my children and say good morning and good night to my husband and, turn on the camera and say, hey guys, and give y'all inspiration and motivation. But I show up every day. Why? Because even on them days when I cannot do it, and I am literally in my bed and I am in tears, and I have no idea why I'm sad. Nothing in my life is going wrong. Everything is going right. But at the end of the day, my soul is crying. And it's crying not always for me. See, our experiences in this life, we have to realize that not everything we go through is for us. Sometimes the things we go through is for other people. And it very well may be the experiences that we have are for the people that we have yet to meet. Yeah. Understand how many things you've gone through that you don't understand at all. You like, why that happened? And then a few years, you run into a young man or you run into a young sister that says, hey, I'm going through this. And you say, you know what? 4 years ago, you never know. So just simply showing up every day, showing up, baby, as a queen. I show up every day. I show up for my husband. I show up for my men. I show up for my boys. I show up for my father. I show up for my sisters. I show up as me. I just show up. And I don't show up with a representative. I show up as Miss Neek. I show up, I'm a cussing, fussing ass. And I show up. But I tell the truth. I am a realist. I keep it real. And you expect nothing less. I show up and I live my life out loud on purpose, with a purpose, right? Because so many times we go on the television, we turn on the folks out there lying about their reality. But you know what? I'm not even mad at them no more. They're so bad. There's something going on in them that they need this as an escape. Yeah. So go on out there and be whoever the hell you want to be. Go on. I ain't gonna stop you from being who you want to be out there in the universe. But in reality, we still need to scale it back. And we still need to see that there is some truth out there. There's realness out there. That there are people out there that is willing to stand in front of you and be vulnerable and share that they've been sexually abused, or that they're living in a domestic relationship, or that their children were just removed, or they don't know how to mother, or they don't know how to be a father. You understand? You just need to show up. I empower by literally showing up as me every day because I'm needed. Yeah. And we have to remember that you are needed. You are needed. However you are, whoever you are, wherever you are needed. Just the way you are. You don't need to change nothing. You are needed because all of us are at different levels in our life. And yes, you may think that you are ready to elevate. Yes, you may feel like you need to elevate. Hell, you probably do. But right now, somebody needs you right where you are. They say, meet me where you are. Meet them where they at. Well, this is where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm going to repeat the question for you. How do you empower our Black people?
You know, I met Miss Neek just this afternoon, and I knew as soon as I met her that we were kindred sisters. I help to empower women by those women who, like Ms. Neek described, who wake up one day and say, you know what, this doesn't feel good anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore, but I don't know what the answer is. Because you see, we think that our secrets keep us safe, but what they do is they make us sick. Wow. And unaddressed pain builds walls, but healing opens doors. And so as I began to work with women who came to me, accomplished women, degreed women, financially secure women, but there was still something not quite right on the inside, not in alignment. You know how you sleep and you sleep wrong, you got this crook in your neck, and it kind of, you go on and do what you have to do, but you kind of know it's nagging, it's always there. Well, those are the women that I work with. And I start with helping them to heal from the inside out. Because once you are healed on the inside, everything else on the outside looks differently. You show up differently. You're more confident. You stop second guessing yourself. You stop wondering if you're good enough. And here's another key factor. You learn to forgive yourself.
Amen.
For all of the lies that you've been told and all of the ways that you've been conditioned to be, that you thought you should be because people told you that you should be, but it didn't feel good. And once you can release that and forgive those who were accountable, forgive those who didn't know themselves, and forgive yourself for what you didn't know, that's where your empowerment comes in. And I take women on that journey. We start with clarity about who you are, where you came from, how you evolved into the woman that you are today. What are the circumstances? What were the situations that happened that were not your responsibility? Clarity on how you can forgive yourself. And then helping them to really understand who they are, so that then they're brave enough to go out and create the life that they really want. So they can stand up as a majestic queen. So they can stop making those unhealthy decisions in love and life. And trust me, that was me. I am she, I was her. A child at 16, just looking for love in all the wrong places and all the wrong men, because no one taught me that I was worthy. And I was pissed when I learned this information. And I didn't learn it until I was in my nearly 50. I'm 64 now. And the reason that I do this work is because I was mad that no one told me that all those years. 50 years, I didn't feel I was good enough, or right enough, or pretty enough, or light-skinned enough, or had good hair enough, or worthy enough. What can I do? And I said to myself, I know a whole bunch of other women out there just like me, just smiling on the outside and dying on the inside. And so I empower women by helping them to heal from within.
The water came just in time right there. I was hoping I was gonna get something on there. How do I help empower the community? I think that's my whole mission. That's my whole mission statement, right? As a Black man myself, I live in this community. I live in this society, right? It's like who can feel it more than the Black man, right? Of what's like all of these things that's going on. But I feel like it's a part of my mission statement as a stylist. That's what I talk to a lot of my clients about. It's not about just the wardrobe or what I'm putting on, where I'm going. It's about the confidence to be able to walk into those rooms. Because I consult with a lot of young men and women actually that want to know, like Mr. U, how do you do that thing that you do? How do you wear the things that you wear? How do you get on stages and talk that talk the way you talk it? It came from a place of confidence because I used to be them. I couldn't do it. So I used to get in the pulpit at church and I used to freeze up. The pastor used to tell me to pray and lay hands and stuff. He was teaching me all that at a young age to really teach me my power that I think they knew that I had in me before I knew it. But I decided to make that my life purpose through my gift of fashion, my gift of style and creativity. I tap into that with. It's crazy because it's like you think one thing is your purpose. Like I thought the fashion and all of that and the photo shoots and the fashion shows, that was my world, right, for a long time. And I thought that was my ministry. I thought that was what it was. But the way God has transitioned my whole journey, He gave me a voice through that. He gave me an image through that. He made me he built me to be able to do this, right? So it was a choice really to take that and use it for good, right? to give back and pour into and empower my people. Because you look at fashion, it's such a big statement, right? You see it in the media, you see it, you guys, dressed up right now, the way you want it to be, the way you want it to feel today, the way you want it to represent yourself today. Yeah. It's a statement, it's a philosophy to it, So I choose to take my understanding and my gift through that to pour back into my community. And we talked about George Floyd when he got murdered. I started a whole brand from that called Suited Up. And the last one I did was part 5. I did it in Frisco on top of one of the big parking lot roofs out there at the Star. And a lot of my people who came out, so the foundation of it was when George Floyd got murdered, a lot of people was rioting. I was still living in Houston at the time. A lot of people was rioting out in the streets, doing a lot of stuff nationally, right? And I was like, well, that's not Mr. U, right? I don't move like that, but I want to speak out through my art. So I started the Suited Up brand to bring men together, put them in suits, allow them to network, empower each other in a setting where it's predominantly white people. That was all twisted. So every time I did it, it was in an area where it would be, predominantly white people, like Frisco. I did it in Bishop Arts District, part 4. The part 3, 2, and 1, I did in like certain areas. I took it on tour and did it in multiple cities here in Texas, and it was amazing to see so many Black men come together from different parts of the state, like traveling to come to this Suited Up event. But they understood the concept. They understood the significance of it. And not only are we building content, because that's what I tell myself, that's what I tell people I am in a nutshell. I'm a content creator, that's the name of the game now. Marketing, content, advertisement, social media is a whole philosophy. We'll talk about that later, y'all. But that's how I pour it back into my community through my art. I made it my duty. I made it part of my mission statement to not only just be a business owner, but be out in the community. Show up for other people.
Yeah.
The other gentlemen that I see doing events, and I want to connect with you on your that mentor thing.
Absolutely.
I'm serious.
Absolutely.
Because I do that a lot. I go out to public schools, ISDs, alternative schools, academies, and I speak to children about entrepreneurship. We have people in the audience that can attest to it. I love doing it. I pour into these people from my heart because it is needed. If I don't do it, who's gonna step up and do it?
Right.
I have a lot of other men come up to me like, Mr. U, man, I see what you're doing, man. Keep going. That's empowering me to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that allows me also, empower me also to want to, connect the dots and do it and keep it going and connect with other gentlemen that I'm meeting. That's what I love about this panel, because we are influencers. People are watching us. So it ain't about, so much of what we're doing, is how we're doing it. Because people tell me, I see you everywhere. No, it's not. I'm not everywhere. I'm in the places I'm needed. I'm in the places that's most important, that's powerful. So it's the magnitude of it when it hits social media. It blows up without even me sharing nothing. Because it's the rooms that I choose to be in. It's not about being everywhere. So that's how I pour back into my community. Thanks.
So I think I love everybody up here now. These are some amazing, amazing people, and they really echo, again, everything that I do. The strategies that Mr. McLean employs with his writing, I do with poets. So I have Black poets and artists, actual visual artists, music artists, we come together and I give them a strategy to create. And we start from, hey, I don't even know how to put a poem together. Hey, I'm doing this for the first time. Hey, I just want to get out there, to poets actually wanting to write books, to actual poets writing books. I help them through the whole process of editing, what that looks like, publishing your own book, everything there. And it builds them up inside, gets their voice heard. And through all of that, we still work through all of the mental struggles that writers deal with. Writers, if anybody in here journal, you write, you understand, you know it's emotional. So we actually have a thing we put together called Dear America. And you can follow us on Instagram, Dear America 2023, and that's called Voice Echoes of the Ancestors is the play that I'm putting together, and that's my stamp that I want to put on for our voices to be heard. So I've taken a lot of poets who didn't have a voice, who felt that they were underrepresented in the poetry community itself because they aren't a big name, because nobody's seen them on stage, but their voice matters. And that has transformed their lives. And it makes me feel, I'm getting chills right now because I'm thinking about one poet in particular who right now has the confidence now to go on TikTok to spread the word that he didn't even think was good. And I'm like, people gonna love that. He said, people still coming to me right now. They want more, they want this, they want that. And that makes me feel good that they feel better about themselves and they know that their voice is needed. So that's my contribution.
My contribution is I share knowledge. Anything that I learn about our people, about our culture, I share the knowledge. Our youth, they need us. They need us. They need us. They need us. Like the gentleman said earlier, the school system it's not their responsibility to teach our kids, because what they're teaching our kids is not setting them up for success, not at all. I've experienced it. I've witnessed it. We need to show up for our kids. The mentorship program that I offer is free to the girls. We teach them how to be sisters to sisters. How to, when you see another sister, you acknowledge that sister. You speak to that sister. You communicate with that sister. You create a bond with that sister, because you never know what that sister is going through and how you can uplift and help that sister. So I empower our people by showing up, like Ms. Meek said. I show up for not just myself, not just for my boys, not just for my other half, but for the girls that I serve. They need us. When they come to the meetings, they are so happy. They just show up. They text me and say, "Hey, Miss Amber, are we meeting today?" "No, our meeting is next week." "Okay, just making sure we." It's difficult when you are running a organization by yourself or with a team. It gets difficult. But I push through because of the girls. They need us, and they're seeking our knowledge. They're seeking our experience. They want to see what we've been through. They want to know how to move forward, how to grow. And I do empower by just showing up. I want to open up the floor for the audience. If anybody wants to share a story or answer one of the questions that we've asked before we move forward, please feel free to do so. This is a joint discussion. This is an interactive Sister Sunday. This is where we reach out to everyone. We all come together and we talk and we connect. So if anyone wants to share their story or wants to talk about empowerment, please feel free to do so. Raise your hand. We can bring the mic over there so you can share your story, or let us know how you empower people or what you do in the community. Feel free before we move on. Her first and then you, okay? You mind coming up here?
Y'all give her a hand.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikija Robbins, and I am also a Christian motivational speaker, author. And I just want you all to be okay with not knowing what you don't know. So many times we say, well, I wasn't raised this way, or I didn't have certain opportunities, or so many different things. It's okay. It is okay, because you don't know what you don't know. There's nothing wrong with asking people questions. There is nothing wrong with getting the knowledge that you need, because you want to be successful. You want to be able to help somebody else. You want to be able to pour into somebody else. I have two young daughters. They're 3 and 5. And I have noticed that they're very smart, but they want to be like their classmates. My oldest daughter told me one day that she wanted to pull out her front teeth because her friend did it. And it was at that moment, y'all, I had to tell my daughter, I said, Chloe, you repeat after me. You're smart. You're a leader. You are beautiful. nobody can do you like you. You see, I didn't have that growing up. My mom just said, you're going to go to school and you're going to stay in this house. You're going to do what it is that I tell you to do. That was all that she told me. And that's, you better do what she says do or you're going to be in trouble. But that's not really what we need. And that is what this panel is telling us here, that we need each one reach one. So just because you didn't get a certain thing, watch the people that are around you. You gravitate to those who have, sparks about them, who have lights about them. And you say, I just want to follow you. I like what it is that you do, and I enjoy being in your presence. I look up to you. And you take those things from them and you keep growing. And what you didn't have, you put that into somebody else, because I promise you, it will make a difference.
Amen. Amen.
Hello, my name is Layloon. Hey, my name is I'm an artist and I make music as well. I really just wanted to point out the thing you said about the TikTok post. I love that point because it's something I dealt with for a long time. Being afraid to drop my stuff and other things I write. And a good friend of mine actually mentioned, he was like, the world is really big. Even if you feel like people may not like it, somebody will. And that was a great point.
That's true.
Thank you. Hi, I'm so happy to be here. This is amazing being in this room. I actually just registered like 2 days ago, but man, I'm glad I did. So my name is Stephanie M. Seaton. I'm an author, minister, publisher. It's a pretty good sized platform. But what I want to talk about is this all just happened recently, is what I want to talk about. I grew up in a house. My parents got divorced when I was really young. We moved in with my grandparents. We were in a 3-bedroom house, about 10 or 12 of us, okay? You had to stomp your feet to make the rats run, turn the lights on to make the roaches go. And we had one toothbrush in the house. I'm trying to tell you what God will do, okay? And we had one toothbrush in the house that everybody used because we didn't know any better, okay? I grew up in a home where we were dysfunctional. I was abused by my mother. And I still had to love her because she's my mother, right? And the Lord made me, as an adult, have her move in the house with me, where I had to learn how to love her, like right up close, right? But I said all that to say this: life can throw you some curves. You can go through some things, right? But like everyone on the panel has talked about, the healing process, it's not for the other person, it's for you, right? So I had to go on a journey of healing where I had to realize, you know what, my parents were not the parents maybe that I needed them to be, but they done the best job they could. And I had to give them some grace, right? Because I wanted to be who God called me to be, right? So once I went on that journey of healing, then I was able to flow in my gifts. And in the last 6-7 months, once I went through my healing process, I've now written and published 9 books. Wow. The enemy, whether it be the man, Satan himself, the enemy, whoever the enemy is, had me keep my mouth closed for 48 years. I'm 48 years old. Wow. And I just started talking, telling my story through my books. Wow. Right? And so the very first book I wrote was called The Woman at the Well. I didn't want to write that book, but I had to write that book. And then I wrote a book about the abusive Christian marriage. I definitely didn't want to tell about that, right? Then I had to talk about the open door. And I had to keep going and going about the church girl. You know, we sit in church and we're just a church girl because we're in the building, not because we have Jesus, right? And I had to talk about that too. And the point of it is, God will do something miraculous in you when you choose to be healed. So my thing to all of you sisters and brothers is get healed. Don't do it for somebody else. Do it for yourself and for the people that are coming behind you. So that's the contribution that I bring. I write through my books.
I have the platform. I have a TV show platform. I interview people. I let them tell their stories about how the Lord is blessing them. And I help people get their voice by publishing books for people that want to get healed through their writings. And so again, I just say get healed, not for somebody else, but for yourself. And then you'll automatically bless those people that are coming up behind you so you can be a blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, we have.
Stephanie is my co-author too, by the way.
I appreciate you all for coming up here and sharing that with us. We have a few more questions to ask, and then we'll get to the fun part where we get to eat a good old gumbo. But before I go on with the next question, I want to shout out to my dear friend who's a board member for the Sisterhood Foundation. She shows up no matter what. She's a wonderful artist. She does paint with a twist party. She's amazing. She doesn't much. She's a very beautiful African-American woman. She's my sister, my friend, and I love her to death. I just want to shout out Miss Toya King. I love you very, very much. Just want to share that. Thank you for always being there. The girls love you. I love you, and I very much appreciate you. We'll start from my right-hand side with the next question. Describe one issue that hinders empowerment in the Black community.
Oh. One issue that I see a lot is basically just communication. Like, how are we talking to people? How are we expressing ourselves? Like, are we dealing with the trauma to be able to come out of who we were, what we've been through, and how we deal with forgiveness? And I feel like forgiveness is a big part of how we communicate because we don't even understand how forgiveness works,
right,
why it works, and who it works for.
Yes.
It's not even for that other person, but I see the echoes. Everybody understands. It's not for that other person. It's for you to be able to deal with every day as it comes because we have so much against us. We got to be for us. And I feel like we got to understand about a little bit better ourselves so that we'll be able to forgive the other things that happened or the other things that are happening so that we can communicate more effectively. What was it? James Baldwin and what was her name? They had the conversation where she was saying, Nikki Giovanni. She was like, why don't you lie to me? You go in that cracker face and you smile, but you come here and you yelling at me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily lying, but you put your best foot forward for the people that are closest to you instead of continually taking that hurt out. You might feel safe, you might feel vulnerable there, but I feel like that's the biggest hurdle that we have to come across is dealing with that trauma forgiveness so that we can learn how to communicate better, and that will allow us to plateau to something else.
Yes.
That's a good question. I had to think about that as the young lady was speaking. And because I'm out in the community a lot, guys, so I see a lot. I engage, I network, I shake a lot of hands. And a lot of people talk to me about different issues that they may have or somebody they know. And I'm thinking, like, what is one of the major things that I think that hinders us when it comes to empowerment? It's showing up. As important as it is, sometimes that is the issue also. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people don't have that burning desire that I think it takes to show up, right? And I think we need to think about that because for me, that's so powerful, like showing up. Sometimes you might not always know what the outcome gonna be, but show up anyway. Yeah. You know how much courage and confidence and power that takes for even you guys to be here today. I mean, you guys could have been doing anything else, right? Today's Sunday, fun day, could have been at the park before Monday. I could have been at home planning my week, but you guys decided to come out and show up for not us, but for yourself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes these empty seats are people that had a fear of the unknown and they didn't show up for themselves. To be empowered, that's so important. I think sometimes is missing. So, what I'm saying, to overturn that, I choose to be an example. And I think that's a big issue as well. because some of us don't have that, again, burning the desire to die for what we believe in.
Yeah.
We talk about Martin Luther King, we talk about Malcolm X, we talk about all of these phenomenal men. They stood for something and they stood on it and they died for it. And a lot of our people, we believe in something a little bit, or we believe in something when it's a fad, when it's popular to believe in it. Things economically happen to us or our people, and we talk about it for like a week or two until that next thing pops on social media and we flock to that.
Distraction.
That's a problem.
Yep.
You gotta, like she said, it's a difference between distractions and being focused and setbacks and all of these things is, you know, they master it really.
Yep.
They master at distracting us. Celebrities, topics that don't really matter to us. It's like, why do we even care? Why do we feed into those things? It is taking us from what we're supposed to be doing. The Potter's House I was watching on the other day, last Sunday, and he was talking about the noise. We know what that noise is. Y'all know what it is. We growing here. The noise, the distractions, other people's burdens, the music, the media. All that stuff is distracting us, man. Stuff that don't really matter. But I'm so glad to be a part of this panel. We're talking about things that do matter. And this is, like I said, this is one of my mission statements, is that's what I want to do. I want to do things that are empowering. If it's not uplifting, if it's not empowering, it's not motivating our people, I don't want to be a part of it. You're not going to see my brand a part of it, period. Because it's what I stand for. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm not focusing on that right now success. I'm focusing on that long-term, legendary, iconic stuff. And this is the process.
Mr. Andrew, would you give us the question again, please? Describe one issue that hinders empowerment in the Black community.
I think our challenges are as diverse as this panel here and everyone in this room. So I can only speak on what I know and what I teach on. And that is, in my opinion, you know, let me segue a minute. I was out recently and I ran into someone that I hadn't seen in years. And he asked me what I was doing. And I told him that I help to empower midlife women. And he's like, well, why do you want to mess with them? They so messed up already. You can't help them. Yeah. And so that type of mentality, that type of mindset is one of the things that hinders us a great deal, particularly as women of color. So in my sphere of influence, the work that I do, my challenge is, my passion is helping women to rewrite those stories, that it is not too late to stand in your power. It is not too late to heal what has hindered you, because we think that our family secrets keep us safe. But again, they make us sick.
Yeah.
And so my work is helping women to understand that, yes, that did happen to you. But I also know what happens to you when you allow that to live within you. One of the reasons that I do the work that I do is because I lost my best friend, my road dog, my biggest cheerleader, my little sister. I lost her to cancer. She was 43 years old. She was the youngest of 5, and I'm the eldest of 5. How's that to be?
Right.
And though I'm not a medical professional by any means, I really do believe that those untold stories, that unhealedness, that unforgiveness manifested itself into something that does not serve us.
Yeah.
And so the way I empower women is to help them to address those things in a loving way, because we get beat up enough already externally. So I teach them how to come within themselves and nurture that young girl within them who didn't get what she needed. Maybe because those who were responsible for didn't have themselves.
One word, ego.
Yes.
Ego. Ego. Okay? The E-G and the O. That is our problem. Okay? That is our problem. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care if you riding with your boys or if you hanging with your sisters, ego is our problem, period. Because we have an egotistical mindset, it becomes an individualized mentality. And it takes, again, it removes everything from us to me. When do we get rid of the egotistical issue, right, that lives within every single one of us? I don't give a damn how much good you do. Individuality is unison, right? That you're supposed to want to do something for self. You're supposed to want to see yourself thrive and do greatness and all of that. But at whose expense? At whose expense are you supposed to get that record deal?
Yep.
At whose expense are you supposed to get that new label? At whose expense are you going to get that house? Are you leveraging your children? You understand?
Yeah.
To keep that job. Because you're able to make 6 figures, right? You now don't have time to raise your children. You're now forced to get a divorce because your husband doesn't recognize you anymore because you ain't never at home. So at what expense? Our community, and it affects every community, but some communities are thriving with it. Some of these white women are okay with their husband being at work all the time because they don't want their ass at home anyway. But we love, and we love on our men real good. And we want them at home right next to us. Come here, boo. I got your dinner ready. You got my bath. We good. You understand what I'm saying? It's ego. And once we start to break down all of these perpetuated lies and these fences and these walls and these narratives and all this dirty, we will be okay. I think that we all just need to be stripped of everything. We need to be stripped down to the bone. We need to be butt naked amongst each other, forced to not just look at ourselves and look at what and appreciate, right? And learn to appreciate what we see in the mirror. Every perfection and imperfection. But then we have to turn around and then look at you and listen to you tell me what ain't good or what you think is and ain't attractive to you, and vice versa. It's not a matter of tearing you down. This is how we build you up. You have to be able to face what is true. We have filters on social media. We got, baby, you ain't got to look at you ain't got to look how you think you look. You can look in the way you want to look. Yeah. They got mirrors out here, baby. If you 500 pounds, you feel like you 120, put that filter on. The problem with society is that we don't have the wherewithal. We are losing it. Yeah. We, us, my age group, and older, we are a dying breed. Yeah. These babies will be growing up in this society where if you go on there and pick and dad on Snapchat, you can have a full face of makeup. That ulcer universe, y'all, is hindering us. But let me tell you, this falsity that we live in now has always been. It's always been. Let's be real. You go to church, half them folks was at the club last night. This falsity has always been. The pastor, he's sitting there with a dang on Escalade. You sitting there can't even make your rent. But he's standing before you, asking you to tithe what you don't have. Come on now. This false narrative has always been. It has always been. But now we have social media, so you know everything, as this brother said, is magnified 100 million times bigger. And because everybody's trying to capitalize on what's now normal, they trying to beat you to the punch. So now they throwing all kinds of stuff at you. Oh, you ducking and dodging every which way you go. Ego is our problem. Ego leads to our individuality and that individual mindset. And I'm telling y'all that if we do not get out of this individual mindset, we are not going to be around.
Facts.
Everything that we complain about now is going to only get worse.
Yeah.
It's never going to get better, ever.
Yeah.
If we don't first figure out this ego and individualized mentality. You supposed to love yourself. You sure do. You supposed to. You supposed to love yourself. But at whose expense?
I want to say that I love her voice. I can listen to her stuff. Like, I don't have to look at you. I can just hear her voice and it's like she's my conscience or something. Like, but I love the raspiness, the passion in her voice. It's neat. Let's go.
Ego definitely is the issue. Ego definitely is the issue. You look at all the schools, different schools of spirituality throughout the world. It's trying to tell you to transcend the ego. Transcend the ego. If you consider Christianity, Jesus said what? If you need to deny yourself and then take up your cross and then follow after me. The Apostle Paul said, I die daily, right? Love is the only commandment from the New Testament. A new commandment I give unto you, that you love your neighbor as you love yourself. We have to be able to see the oneness amongst ourselves, the oneness among the purpose on the planet, and to transcend our individuality so that we can work towards a greater collective cause. Now, my people are destroyed for the lack of what? Knowledge. So my answer to the question is it's a collective lack of knowledge of self. Now, what happens when you transcend the ego? What happens whenever you die to this concept that you think of as yourself, that will you see in the mirror? Well, then you're able to identify with the spirit that you are, and then you begin to grow in true knowledge, a proper understanding of the true beauty that you are, and that the person next to you is your beautiful reflection, right? We all have a mixed bag that life has handed to us with strengths and weaknesses. And so I give myself grace for my weaknesses, so that I do the same thing for my brother and my sister right next to me. That's ego. So I have a mindset philosophy that's called living the tree of life. And the major premise is that the majority of our culture, we are living the tree of life in reverse, backwards living. We're consumed with backwards living because we're living in our ego. I mean, do we not understand? Jesus Christ, he said, the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, if your eye is single, or as in if your eye is healthy, you're seeing great things of great health, well, then your whole body is full of light. But if your body is not healthy, then it's filled with darkness. And he said, beware that, he said, if the light that is in you be darkness, well, how great is that darkness? So it's pretty much saying that we receive information and we can have a great life through what comes in through our eyes and through our ears. That's the way how we're programmed through our environment, what we see in life, what we're taught, what we're told, the traumatic experiences that we've had throughout life. Like, that's how we thrive inwardly. But if we're used to seeing detrimental scenes in our life, if we're used to celebrating murder, kill through the music lyrics that if we're into a lifestyle of gratifying our lower nature and saying, hey, well, I feel this way, like, well, I was wearing it and she was looking at it, and so I guess it's okay. Everybody feels this way. We're not transcending. We're living within our ego space. We're not fully understanding who we are, our ability to attract our greatest desires to ourselves. And so, I mean, it's a multifaceted answer. I mean, that question.
Yeah.
Because beginning with knowledge of self, I mean, our ancestors lived in such a way that they practiced it and they cultivated it in their daily lives, and even would send people to school for 30 to 40 years to gain knowledge in this understanding. Meanwhile, over here in this part of the world, I mean, we're just being, we're going to grade school so we can work in someone's factory, right? So we can be someone else's employee, so we can be a different version of a slave. And what we went through the gangster era with music, then the crunk, right? Then trap, and then drill. And we see our children following these molds, right? Because we're not understanding who we are as a people and who we are as a collective, possessing the spirit of the living God within us. And we can create and bring. Last thing I'll say is that this sister right here, Amber, it began with a thought for her to have these kind of meetings and to bring the community together in this kind of a way. And because she's a resilient spirit with the thought, she can think and she can bring into reality. And so that's the ability that every single human has, and we have to be able to teach our people that.
So again, great question and very great responses. As I sit and I listened, and ego hit me back to back here, and it just kind of made me channel my thought just a little bit, because I was going to speak more on Black love and Black pride, lack of in the Black community. That is what is hindering us, which is the X component of lack of Black pride is ego.
Yeah.
Do we truly know our root? Do we truly know our history? Do we truly know that each one of y'all sitting out there come from royal priesthood? Royal priesthood, and you were brought up to be that next throne of the person on the throne, and we now got more westernized to where we think Black pride is wearing a t-shirt and doing all this and that.
Come on now.
Holding our fellow man down. That is not what true Black pride is. True Black pride is, I talk about our mentoring program, but however, we also have an X component of that where we go to fathers, young fathers, middle-aged fathers. They say you can't teach another when he's 16. I beg to differ.
Yes, that's right.
I beg to differ. I can show a 35-year-old man how to be a man. If he never been taught how to be a man. Because that's Black pride. Because we're gonna go deep. We're gonna go back to where we came from. We're gonna go back to our ancestral roots, and we're gonna learn and start building upward and things like that. And that's not a lot, not enough of that going around to where now we lead into this thing called ego. And I'm in this I wouldn't call it a podcast group, but I'm in a group with a bunch of young men where we talk about the various topics such as this that are hindering our Black community. And one of the things we talk about is we use the word, I'm trying to get them to get that NIGG word out of their language and things such as that. So we now kind of subconscious to this word called nuka. Well, we get ready to get rid of that word as well, because it's not even a supplement. But the thing I try to tell them is, it is the pride of the Black man. That is what it is. And we can call it ego, we can call it pride. Why we got churches on every corner? Why they can't just get together? Because it's pride that's blocking us, the ego that's blocking us to allow us to be able to empower. Because we can have one powerful leader, so to speak, one head of the throne that helps empower and bring young men and young women up behind them to be able to lift our young men and our young sisters up so they one day could be able to do the same thing. And that's where I think we really fell in as a society. It is not enough education on the Black pride. The Black pride. Now we go up to another segment of the Black love. And I heard the sister say earlier, and I wanted to share this, is as Black men, we missed that mark. We got wounds, we got scars. Why we have to wait so long to get that mended and moved and things such as that? Right. So I encourage my young men, if you have some what we call scars or some healings or some abuse or something that happened in your life, you need to start opening up to that now, because that's what's going to empower you to become more stronger in your race and your culture and things like that, because you've closed that gap and you healed that wound and things such as that. So it's really, to me, it's more about Black pride, which also is a component of ego. But that's what we need to get more back to. We need to get rooted into it. We need to have more segments like this. We need to teach more people about, he's left already, but I don't know if you ever heard a chance to hear Ricky Clark, the brother goes deep. And it goes extremely deep to the Black youth to where grown men such as myself are learning something every time I hear from this brother. And I've heard him several times. I seen him back there with his hands up and things. But the point of what I'm saying is there's not enough Black pride in the Black community. And it's getting further and further away with the social media aspect. Now, again, I come up in a generation where we had community centers. We met together. It was a village that raised the village. You know, Miss Johnson can discipline you and your mama go get your when she get home and things like that. That don't happen nowadays. So we starting to lose more and more of our culture and heritage and things such as that. And that just it's going to exasperate, become worse for the generations coming further. I wish we had a lot more younger people in the audience so they can hear this. And I'll make sure my young mentoring boys, that's 5th grade, 12th grade, hear it when we get together next month. But that is what we're trying to get these young men to understand. Grab a hold to who you are. Grab a hold to your culture. Grab a hold to you are a Black man, whether you're 12 years old, whether you're 40 years old. You're a Black man, you stand strong. You stand with your head up, and you are royal priesthood. And we need to get back to teaching our young men and our young women the same thing.
I think I like what you said. There's a difference between ego and pride.
Yeah.
Like it's a difference between like having pride in yourself and where you come from and what you believe in versus having ego towards it or with it. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I'm gonna answer the last question. Describe the one issue that hinders empowerment in the Black community. I really think it's people jumping on the negativity bandwagon, and people want to chase a bag instead of chasing knowledge. You're chasing a bag for what? What are you gonna do? You're gonna buy a Louis Vuitton that's helping you, that's helping yourself. You taking money from the Black community and putting it right in the hands of our oppressors. It's not enough people taking a chance to look in the mirror. Like Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. How you gonna help somebody if you can't help yourself? How you gonna address somebody's issues if you don't address your own? When I started this journey of empowering the young girls, I said that I have to, in order for me to truly help them, I have to help myself. And I went on a spiritual journey where I became vegan. I've been vegan for 4 years. I said I want to put into my body what is grown from the earth so that I can better serve people, so I can better serve these girls who really need us. And so I challenge you all, when you leave here, to empower or to uplift somebody, truly look at yourself, truly look in the mirror and say, how can I be a better person? How can I be a better person, not just for yourself, but for the next person? Because we all are going through something, we've all been through something, and we need to know who we are in order to get to our destination, in order to truly empower and uplift each other. I hope that today, that everybody who attended the Sister Soul Sunday Black History celebration, because it truly is a celebration of our greatness and who we are. Our ancestors fought very hard, extremely hard, to get us to the point to where we are today. And we need to celebrate it, we need to embrace it, and we need to uplift and empower our people. Because like I always say, I am Black and I am proud of it. And you should be too. Thank you all for attending Sister Soul Sunday. Thank you all for being on the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope to see you all at our next Sister Sunday on March 17th. And I hope you all were touched and inspired by Sister Soul Sunday. Thank you all. 7:20, can you take us away with some music? We will have some chicken and beef gumbo. The caterer who catered this, he does do seafood gumbo. We didn't know what to expect for as the crowd, so we kept it simple with the chicken and sausage. You will love it. I will have his information for him if you all would like to have an event catered from Cajun Beast Cuisine. Thank you all. Let's enjoy, let's network, and let's shop and enjoy each other's company. Thank you.
Hey, y'all,